Very good morning. Hi everybody. It's Thursday. We're over the hump, which is good. So thanks for joining me. Take these off. I don't need these on for Thursday's edition. The morning really got away from me. So thanks to everybody that's jumping in. It was like all of a sudden 8 o'clock. I had to jump on here, and we'll see who's here. We'll check in. But before we do, just want to thank everybody for joining me. If you're watching this on the replay, we do go live Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, and you can join us live if you want to come and join us live. But if not, you're always welcome to watch the replay. Always appreciated. And good morning, everybody. I've got my coffee. Hopefully, you've got your coffee too. Kind of a weird market day if you're looking today, because obviously the United States is Thanksgiving. Their Thanksgiving today, so not a lot of news coming out of there other than Thanksgiving news and possibly shopping, because they have the big shopping. The States kick off the big shopping day for them is tomorrow for Black Friday. Let's see who's here. Candace, Mountain Finance. Welcome to the live stream again. And I will get our stream posted. I saw your email come through, so looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll get some questions from everybody when that comes up. And Brian's here. We'll see. I don't know. Not as many. Doesn't look like as many of the regulars in today. Maybe they're like me and slept in a little bit, and aren't getting up as early, depending where they're from. But that's okay. Some news just on the channel posted yesterday. I posted the update on the 99 update, which was done. Just a quick update on that one to get it out of the way. No purchases, but as the live stream knows, I did do the purchase, a sneak peek. I guess you get the breaking news if you're joining live. I have got my purchase ready to go for that the share for the 100 update. So that will get done, and we'll get that. That's been transferred over, so we'll get that purchase. That was a good one. And I was looking at it today, and I guess I should have bought it yesterday because it's up a little bit today. But that's usually the case when I buy something, is it goes down right after. But it's 8. Yeah, you must be on the West Coast too then, Brian. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. So yeah, just getting in for the start of my day. It's a good way to start the day. Finish my coffee and then roll into work. And work's going to be busy today, unfortunately. But, well, no, I guess that's a good thing, because if you're working, it means you're making money that you can invest. So that I'm not complaining. I have to get better at not checking my emails first thing in the morning before I actually sit down in front of my computer and actually work. Well, that's it. In terms of news, we always like to kind of pick up some news, and this may be this one. Let me share the screen here. And I pulled up again. Not a ton of news happening. Oh, Brian's on Prince George. Yeah, I'm on the mainland. Not the mainland. I'm on the island, on the West Coast. But I know where Prince George is. I've driven through there a couple times. I had a friend that lived in, where was she? Dawson Creek. So drove through there. And I know a few people in Prince George, but funny enough, my mom, when my mom came to Canada, they lived in Prince George, of all places. It would have been back in the late 40s. I don't think there was much in Prince George in the late 40s, but that's where they moved to. They had friends there that they knew from Scotland, and the family moved there in the 40s. Took the boat across, and then took the train from Montreal to Vancouver, and then up to Prince George. Long time ago. There we go. So news, as we always get sidetracked on the live stream. It's okay. It's always good. This was what I pulled up. I always like to kind of obviously pull up some decent news. So I read this on Twitter. I read this on Twitter yesterday. Let me scroll this down a little bit. I don't think there's actually anything other than the headline. There we go. Elon tweeted this actually, but they're opening up basically full self-driving to basically everybody. And this is, I believe, only in the States. So they can go now, and if they've paid for it, This is the big kind of thing. I guess they're saying it's kind of controversial. This like driver assistant full self driving is now available if you have the car if in North America. So it must be Canada too. As long as you bought the option and you request it, I guess you have to download it over the air to be able to get that access. Before apparently, and I didn't know this. Maybe some people do. Is it was only available for certain people that had certain scoring with their driving. So it must, I'm guessing, track your whatever your insurance, something to do with insurance rates or something like that. I'm not really sure how that all would work out, but I find that interesting. So that might do well if this starts to take really work properly, and could be good for us if you own Tesla, if you do own Tesla stock. This is kind of part of the reason I bought it, because I think if this really takes off, this can be really game changing throughout the world. We'll see what happens. So that was the main news I had today. Not again because the markets are closed in the States and it's a short day tomorrow. There's just not a heck of a lot happening. Other than that, I do have to do a bit of research. As you know, I've been doing the monthly challenge for with Brookfield, which just started last month. So that next month purchase is coming up. But it looks like, and I kind of had read this when I first, and if Candace is watching, she could probably maybe give some more insight into what's happening, because I don't have a certain amount of shares, but they're basically splitting off. It looks like they're splitting off into two different companies. There's a Brookfield, and let me pull this up because I was just reading it this morning, and they are splitting into where did it go here? Now I can't. They're splitting. I can bring this up here. Sorry. Let me screen share this. And if anybody can kind of get some insight into what will happen on so they're splitting into, it looks like they're splitting Brookfield Asset Management into Brookfield Asset Management and another company, Brookfield Corp. So it's a bit confusing. I have to really kind of look into what's kind of happening. So I guess our shares will be, but I don't have enough shares to split into anything. I guess there'll be a workout, something like that. So if anybody has any idea, like I've never had this happen, so I definitely have to kind of look and go what's happening. Obviously, Brookfield Asset Management will still be around, so I'll keep investing in that. I just find that interesting because that kind of popped up, and the only reason it popped up is because I purchased it, and then it starts to show up. I saved it on my watch list on Yahoo to see what was actually happening. So that's interesting. I don't know if anybody owns more Brookfield and can have some insight on that. Let me know in the chat if that's if you have any insight on that. I have to definitely dig into this because this literally just popped up on my news feed. But I will be doing another purchase first of the month. Convert 25, basically take $25 US from the StreamYard app, normally StreamYard subscription, and I'll put it into Brookfield Asset Management on the first of the month for that. So, good morning, Terrain. Welcome to the stream. It's always good to have you. And okay, so you haven't either. Yeah, I don't know if you own. I don't think if you don't. It's funny if you don't own something, you're not necessarily going to pay as much attention to things. So I'm not putting you on. You need to put you on the spot, but I'll have to dig into it and see what happens. I think it looks like it's kind of like a stock split, but it's splitting actually into a different company, or they're splitting off into a different. So it's going to trade as two different companies now. I have to dig into it. I'm probably just going to carry on with what I'm doing because that's still going to be there. But I'm going to guess whatever the portion that they would normally split off would give you shares of the other. But if you don't have enough to get an actual full share, it obviously was going to give you it must give you a payout of whatever that amount works out to when the time comes. I'm guessing. So I'll have to look. I'll have to dig deeper as well. That literally just popped up for me this morning as well. So. Yeah, and that was all the news that popped out. So if anybody has anything that they're looking at today, as always, we kind of talk about if anybody's got their eye on anything that they're looking to purchase. If they've done any new purchases, it's always good to hear what people are doing, how their savings are going, if they've got any new favorites that they've got their eye on. I don't think MC's today. MC is always the one that's got some tips for stocks or something to look at. And if she's here or he, I'm not sure. I always say she because I had a friend. I had a friend named MC, and that was her. So it's probably just initials. I'm sorry, MC. I'm calling you the wrong. It's always hard to know on YouTube. And Average Financer, welcome. Always good to have you. And I don't know. This is always funny. These chats that come through. We won't pull that up. Oh, it's like the icons. If people post icons, I can't see Lane Tristan vlogs, but welcome. I can't see, it doesn't show up properly in my chat if I have icons, but that's just the way StreamYard works. But welcome. I can look back in the regular chat. It's just like the emojis. Welcome. Good to have you here. First time. It's always fun. And just on the market. So yes, like I said, it's kind of slow day in the States, and then tomorrow half day. So we'll see what happens. We had a decent, like closing off yesterday. We had a decent little bump, I think, in things for the most part. I mean, I did my portfolio check yesterday. It was everything, not everything, but in general, it's trending upwards, and it seems to be kind of doing the same thing today. In the S&P in Canada, which is good. So that's always it's always kind of reassuring when you see a bit more green spots in your stocks and ETFs than red. And let's see what Candace's recommend here. If you like gold, XGD is a pretty good gold ETF. Oh, okay, small dividend, more of a growth. Okay, interesting. Yeah. As you know, I don't have gold in my TFSA, but I do have a small in the invest. I do have like I've said, in the invest side, it has a small portion on gold, but I don't know. I think it's just in. I have to double check what that actually is in. It's one of those things like you just don't pay attention. It's for me and my invest stuff. I'm just going to check on my phone because it will break down what ETF it is. It's a very small portion because I have it mostly in equities. And let me look what one they use for gold. It's the Gold Mini Shares Trust, SPDR Gold Mini Shares Trust. So I don't think that pays a dividend, but XGD, that's a good suggestion. Take a look at for some people. Yeah, there's big stuff happening. Average Financial short Apple due to Foxconn. Yeah, I read that last night popped up. There's, I guess, a big in the manufacturing, there are big protests in China at the plant because of COVID lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. I haven't dug a lot into it, but there you go. I don't know if you want to short Apple, maybe. They're saying obviously with all this, like the manufacturing iPhones will be reduced. But I guess I don't know how many people. I think hasn't Apple kind of said that Apple said that their projections on the iPhone are kind of down anyways on the latest one. This is the problem with Apple too, with iPhones. Like they come up with a new iPhone like I think it's like almost twice a year, or have they stopped it to once a year? And we've talked about it before. Like I know with Candace, she still uses the old iPhone. That's because it works fine. They do these such. It seems like at the very beginning it really jumped in technology, but it seems like it's almost slowing down in terms of what they're at. They're obviously trying to always add new things, but it seems like that part kind of slows down. But also people aren't paying $1,500 for a new phone every year anymore, so they cut production of the iPhone 14, and I don't know what one. There's different models, right? There's like whatever they call it, the Max, the Pro, the Plus, or whatever. I don't use Apple phones. I have an Android phone, and they cut production of that. I heard, yeah, just because for whatever, obviously for demand, right? So this might not impact them too much. Hard to say. average financer. I have no idea. I'm a big Apple person. I have an Apple computer. I love them, but again, you don't buy a computer every year. You don't really need to. And a phone, I don't see the point in buying a phone every year either. I'd rather take. I mean, you do a 2 year. If you do a 2 year contract in Canada, you have your phone for 2 years anyways. You send it back and you get a new one every 2 years. Or you keep it and buy it out or whatever you have in your plan. And it's like I'm looking at my phone going like, it's fine. Like I use it for the phone, do the odd app, but that's it. I don't, But the new phones like iPhones do have better cameras and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm maybe a bit different because I have a different camera because I'm into photography as well. So I have a separate camera. I don't use my phone for camera. And gold bullion, I see price now where people might like to jump in. Yeah, if you could, you can always do that. Get some gold and put it in your. You could buy some, put it in your safety deposit box. If you want to buy actual bullion, and you can feel it and hold it, and get the coin. You can get the coin, the ounces or whatever you want to get. It's kind of neat to have for savings. For put it aside and forget about it. An iPhone 15, that'll probably be out that'll be next year because it's the 14 now, right? So get that one. And Brian, I'll buy from Telus for way too much. That's why I own Telus. Oh yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. So whatever phone company you or so whatever share you have. Whatever shares you have in Telus, yeah, go and buy a new one just to help with a good call. Everybody should go buy a new iPhone from Telus. Yeah. But that's the funny thing. My phone is. I'm on Bell because I actually there was a really good deal at the time when I got the new contract. So I decided to do that. Yeah, and just got in Bell. I moved from Telus actually is what I did. I didn't have Bell before, but they had a really good deal, so I switched. Kind of easy to switch now. That's the hard part too. But we'll see going forward when my new contract is up, which I think is almost up actually. Yeah. And as far as going forward with the portfolio, now I've done that big buy for my, as we talked about Tesla earlier, we did the big buy and even talking about Telus. I don't have any money. I don't have any money left now to make any new purchases going forward for a little bit till next at least next payday. But we'll see what happens. I think if the market keeps kind of carrying up, it's a good thing. But it's always like, shoot, I should have got more. Because like with that, I think we're kind of starting to see all signs. I mean, all signs that I'm kind of reading into is a lot of kind of signs that, number one, the Bank of Canada is kind of talking more about the impact of raising rates for mortgage holders. And then the Fed is almost kind of talking about needing to slow down the increase in interest rates. So hopefully, I think maybe after this next Bank of Canada, December 7th, and I'm not sure when the next Fed meeting is. I think it's actually January, if I'm not mistaken. It would be nice to see if we get a bit of a slowdown on the rate increases, and I think that will kind of hopefully turn things around for us. So we might get maybe we'll get a nice. I'm hoping we get a Santa rally this year. That would be nice to see, because we didn't really get one last year. Said that before, but that would be that would definitely be nice to get. And then maybe as we start to roll into the new year, we start to see a bit of a rally out of the Santa. The rally continue from the Santa rally. We'll definitely see how that happens. But signs are kind of pointing towards slowdown in rates, which is which is good. Oh, there is one. Okay, there is one more. Let me see if I can find it. What day it is? Let me see if I can. Let me see. I gotta find it here. I gotta search it. I can't. Fed December. Let's see. Find the calendar here. Where are we going? November. Oh, December 30th. You were right, Candace. There you go. December 13th. It says December. I can pull this up. December 13th or 14th. So we do get one from the Fed. Let's pull that up. You're close though. 13th or 14th. 13th, 14th. So you're partway there. So that will be something to watch. That's for sure, because that could maybe give us a bit of a. That will give us. I think maybe that might give us our Santa rally, and then preceding that would be December 7th from the Bank of Canada. But the market stuff. I mean, obviously everybody pays attention to what the states is doing, right? For the most part. So we might get a decent rally on that. And you're thinking, so you're Candace thinking 50. Are you thinking 50, Candace, for the state, both, or both the states, Canada? I'm thinking, yeah, I think I'm thinking Canada for sure is probably going to scale back. I think I read, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere that the market's kind of pricing in 25 basis points for Canada. I could be wrong. That can always change too, but yeah. And I'm so 50, you're thinking 50 for both. Anybody else that has any, chime in on the chat, but maybe, yeah. I thought I read somewhere that it was pricing in 25 for Canada, but it could be wrong. Maybe I read it as 50. It was on Twitter from someone I follow. And it's always hard to find those things again unless you save them on Twitter. But until then, green until then, yeah, maybe start to build up, and then I'm crossing my fingers for a Santa rally. That's for sure. And we'll see if that can come to fruition, and we don't get faked out, and maybe we get it something nice. And yeah, I agree, Brian. 25 would definitely be nice for people. That's for sure. It's funny how we see even 25 basis points as a reprieve, right? For people, I think there would be I think that would be some relief for sure. But I think the rates they're having effect, right? It's just taking its time to, like, I can just speaking for Canada, like, it's just taking its time. You can really tell how it takes its time to take into effect of people slowing stuff down. But stuff is still, inflation's still there, especially food. That's what I've really noticed lately is the price of, like, especially like fresh stuff. It's definitely, like, expensive, and the quality. And of course, we're coming into winter, right? We can't forget that. But it's like the quality of the produce and stuff seems really exceedingly bad this year for some reason. I guess that partly has to do, I think there's the droughts and stuff in California. So obviously that I think it's probably impacting all the quality and stuff that you see and the prices, right? And it's like, holy, you have to really be conscious of what you're spending your your money on to get, number one, to get any value, but also to try and save some money, because a lot of the stuff is like so expensive. Romaine lettuce, and it's this lousy stuff. Like, even I was looking at the grocery store and even looking at the like carrots, and usually carrots are kind of always fine, there's not really, but the quality was just terrible and the prices are high for every stuff. Yeah, and I think Candace, I think you're right. I think we have to get, we're so spoiled, right? Like, that's the thing with like we were so spoiled before all these, like, supply chain issues with everything, and it hasn't corrected itself, right? We were in a time when you could literally get anything. If we talk about food, but we could literally get anything we wanted in really good quality at any time, because it was literally at our door the next day. And that's not happening anymore. Obviously, droughts, and for whatever reason, just with shortages and different things. I think you're right, and it's almost like we have to just get used to shifting our expectations a little bit too, because can't forget, like, it's the end of November in Canada. It's cold, and if stuff is out of season, we're so used to getting it from other countries, and there's just issues with that, right? So we have to get used to, I think, maybe go look back in time a little bit, and know that it wasn't always the way it was, so we can kind of make adjustments to what we eat, and hopefully save some money in the meantime. But it's really noticeable, really noticeable in the grocery store, with produce. I find especially is crazy, all of a sudden. But that's just, hopefully that will start to improve. But again, that's a whole other, if we're talking with droughts and stuff like that, the growing time, like, that's not going to fix itself until the next season, right? A lot of the stuff is greenhouse stuff, but still, it has to get, a lot of it's not, right? Dsar live stream, welcome to the channel. With these good interest rates, people are not really locking in their money. I'm going to assume you might have to clarify that a little bit. About, are you talking about, I guess, GICs? Because GICs have good, relatively speaking, right? Good returns right now for locking in your money. I think that's what you're talking about, but maybe clarify. I'm not 100% sure. But we've talked about GICs on the channel before. Yeah, if you can lock in for, like, even the short-term GICs, just with the way the rates are and the yields and everything, the short-term are spectacular. It's funny to say like a GIC is spectacular, but it's rates that we haven't seen in a long time. Okay, deposit. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're. What is it? Yeah. Let's see. Just trying to search here on GICs, but we'll see. I can't seem to. Who's got the best GIC? Okay, now let's do a search. I think EQ Bank still has the. I think EQ Bank. So as of, let's pull this up. Are you from the States? Maybe you're from the States. These are live streams. So States is like a guaranteed investment certificate. So it's much like it. What do they call them in the States? CD. GIC. It's guaranteed investment. So if you're from the States, they call them. If you're from the States, obviously, from the US. So it's like a certificate of deposit. It's basically the same thing. It's like a guaranteed investment. You put your money in the deposit, the bank or whoever the lend pays you. CDs. It's basically essentially the same thing, just a different term in Canada. But in Canada right now, I mean, I don't know what the States is. I don't know. I haven't looked at what the deposits are there, but in Canada, I can pull this up. Let's add this. So as of right now, I can scroll down. This is as of today. Let's pull up there's a 1 year. This is what's crazy. Like the 1 year GIC is paying 5.13% at Home Trust Home Capital. And I think you're right. That's right, Brian. Welcome. I think these are you're our first American. We're all Canadians here talking about Canadian finance market and our TFSAs, which is a tax-free savings account. So a little bit different terms than you would be probably used to in the States, maybe. But if people are looking for GICs, 1 year GIC 5.13 from Home Trust, pretty good. I can't say, this is what's interesting, like 3 year GIC is 5.10 and a 5 year is 5.25. I'm not LBCD digital.ca. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of them, but there's definitely some good deals out there. And I see it pop up all the time. Like I use the Tangerine MasterCard, and I get stuff popping up there that it's like GICs. They're trying to get everybody to lock in. I haven't put anything into a GIC yet, but it's decent. It's decent, that's for sure. Good way to kind of diversify and be guaranteed, right? Because GICs used to be this tip, like there was just no point because you wouldn't. Well, I shouldn't say there's no point to save money, but compared to like a savings account, I mean, the savings account paid next to nothing, but GICs would be a bit more, but not by much. Problem is, if it's not cashable, some of them you have to just really watch what you're putting your money into, because if you have to access it and break it, sometimes you don't get sometimes depending what the GIC is, it's not cashable, right? Or if you cash it out, you won't receive any interest. You'll get your principal back, but just something to be aware of, to check on those, but not too bad. Not a bad investment right now, considering the market. But I don't know. I'm more optimistic that I think the market's going to turn around and make more than 5% in the next, say you're locking in for 5 years. I think the market's going to return more than 5%. That's just me. I could be completely wrong, and it all blows up. But I have a feeling that with dollar cost averaging for 5 years, I think we'll be better off than a GIC. Especially if you don't possibly need the money. It'd be different if you were saving for something that you didn't want the fluctuations, right? Like if you're saving maybe you're saving for a house, and you're not planning to buy for a couple of years. Nothing wrong with putting it into a GIC. I definitely wouldn't put a house savings into the market of any kind of equity. That's for sure. You want to make sure you preserve that, unless your time frame's way out. But yeah. First American. That's good. We're hitting the World Wide Web. I think I do get a few visitors, I know, from the channel. Change to spare. That's a great question. They have, what do they call them there? They have they do have something equivalent. I can't remember the term. Because it's so different. You read about that and you just forget it because it's not in your head, but they do. So DSAR, a tax-free savings account, is a TFSA. And there you go, Brian. Yeah, that's what it is. Roth Roth IRA is our TFSA. So it's like a tax-free savings account is an account, these are that you can put money into, and you don't pay tax when you withdraw it or any of your gains. So there we go. So similar. Roth IRA, that's what I was trying to get at. And they have they have some different ones too. There's different, like they have RSP stuff and that kind of stuff. So very similar, just different names for things to confuse you. Michael Anthony, it's a great question. Welcome to the channel. I think this is your first time jumping in. Question, and people can probably jump in. Oh God, I come back to David Lee Roth. That's good. Yeah, that's so good. Michael Anthony. So, what type of companies would you invest around $10 and 3 different sectors? So, are you wanting the share maybe clarify in the comment? Are you thinking of investing say 10, like a regular investment of $10 and 3 different sectors, or is it like you're trying to put $10 like into shares that are like 30 bucks? So I'm a bit confused on that one, but probably what's that? Everybody would know on the channel. It's not on my. I don't invest in it. But what's that TFSA? So you want to kind of average deposits of $10. What's that TFSA that? I'm just trying to think. It's the TFSA of TFSAs that would kind of cover all your bases. Geez, I can never. It's always on the tip of my tongue. Hold on. Is it XE? Oh yeah, XEQT. Am I right with that? I think so. XEQT. Check out. I'll put it in the chat. Check out that one, and I'll pop it up. XEQT. What that is basically is it's like a core equity portfolio. It's from BlackRock. There's some good information. Obviously, BlackRock has obviously they all have kind of decent websites, but it basically invests in the ETF is an ETF of basically total S&P, the TSX, and then it also has a portion of basically some financials and emerging markets ETF. So it kind of covers all your bases. You did mention, so it is all equity ETF. You did mention different 3 different sectors. So it will cover that is so XEQT, and then Candace, thanks for that one. There's a Vanguard one, VEQT. It covers you're gonna have your financial. It's a lot of sectors, mostly it's financials, but yeah, that's one to look at possibly. In terms of individual ETFs, 3 different sectors. I mean, if it's Canadian, if you want to get there's also the Vanguard, like the Dividend one, BTC.Y is heavy on. That has because you mentioned financials and utilities, so BTC.Y is heavy on financials because it's Canadian. So all the banks are covered. The big 5 banks are covered in there, and then also it does have utilities in there too. So check out you can check out BTC.Y. That's one from Vanguard. That's the ones I can think of. I'm sure some people have some other suggestions. I'm sure that's the hard part with ETFs. There's literally so many. And Michael Anthony. Okay, show bank share H-band. I'm not sure what is H-band. Better need Huntington Bank Shares Incorporated. I've never heard of this. And that's another one. Yeah, that's a popular one. Michael, you might want to check out Candace's channel. Candace Mountain Finance here she has her own channel. So check out, if you're not subscribed to her channel, I think she has probably a couple videos now on Canoe EIT. That would be maybe one to check out too. And to learn a bit more about that one, do a bit of research on that. That one is priced around $10 usually. Let's see, Canoe EIT, it might be a bit more than $10 now. Oh, it's up 13. Yeah, I remember it being about $10, 10 or $12 last year. Canoe EIT, there's another one to check out. Candace, does Canoe, I don't think they do fractional shares, do they? I don't think you can buy that fractionally on Wealthsimple. Could be completely wrong. That's the one thing, if you only have, not say you only have $10, but I mean, $10, you have $10 is awesome. Put in $10 a week or something like that onto something. That's the one good thing about an ETF or something you can buy as a fraction. You can just take $10 when you're starting out and just consistently do that. And it makes such a huge, over the years, you'll see. I'll have to check. Sorry. Yeah. Let me just look, because I actually don't know. It's not on my list. I'll check on my phone. If you can get Canoe IT. No fractional shares. So it's trading for about today right now 1367 or 1368. So kind of makes it hard then to do a regular if you're just putting $10. So for Michael, I think definitely look at some of the ETFs that you can purchase at fractional shares on that. And then you can always put in just minimum, $10. Well, there's no minimum really. If you had $1, you could put $1 in, but it's a good way to kind of really start dollar cost averaging and not be too stressed, because you can just do your automatic. And you can set it up now. I mean, I don't know what you use, but Wealthsimple we talk about here a lot, because I use Wealthsimple. But you can set up your automatic deposit to go right into basically a weekly deposit to whatever stock or ETF that you want. And AQN, yeah, there's a few people here that have AQN. I know very little about it as well. But it is a low, but I haven't followed that. Forget who owns. There's a few people in here that do own AQN. I guess there's some issues with thinking that their dividends might not continue. I don't know. I haven't followed that one. And again, I think Candace or Mountain Finance might have a video. She goes really into deep dives, Michael, with stocks and things, where I don't. I kind of share more of my portfolio, my thoughts along the road about investing, but I don't really do a deep drill down on any particular stock. But AQN, yeah, Algonquin, but it's been hit at least recently, yeah. Andy, sorry, yeah. Well, thanks for subscribing. So that's a good question. We do Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to roughly about 9 o'clock, 8:45. We're actually hitting that mark already, so that's a good segue. Monday to Friday, start at 8 o'clock Pacific time. So you can definitely join. Thanks for subscribing. It's appreciated. You can always check that out. But if you don't catch it live, you can always watch the replays on there and do videos along the way. So it'd be great to have you. It's always fun. Americans are welcome. And so yeah, it was low. So Justin, yeah, they have a lot of debt. There you go. There's your answer. So that's obviously hitting, right? Because if you got debt and the interest rates are going up, that's not a good thing. When a company has a lot of debt, especially if it's floating debt, it's not good. So we'll see. And there you go. Smart, I guess. You sold before it dropped. That's I think the worry going forward is any companies with a lot of debt is because of with recession. They haven't said the R word yet officially, but if that's the case coming, I think we're already here in that. That has an impact on companies, and especially if we have a lot of debt with rising rates. Never good. And there you go. Yeah, I've never owned them, Candace. So I don't know. They probably should. They probably, I guess, should have. So should have the one I held, TransAlta. I have to do a bit of digging on that one, but the big thing with TransAlta's had those issues with the wind farms. That was kind of their from the past. But I'll have to dig into them more before I start putting more money in. Yeah. So on that note, it's always fun, everybody. It's coming up to the top of the hour. So it was a good one. It was a good one today. We had a couple new visitors. It's always good to have new people join along and talk about what do we think is going to happen. It was always nice to share some ideas for people to put them in the direction. Obviously, never tell somebody to buy something, but put them in the right direction on in terms of starting to learn and starting to research things that they might want to buy. It does help, because I know it can be really overwhelming when you log into your account and there's literally infinity choices of things to buy, and it's always nice to talk to other people that have some of the same stocks, or can point you in the right direction of things to possibly look at that have been going well. But as always, everybody needs to, as the disclaimer goes, do your own research and make sure that you're not investing, not recommending investing using leverage by any means, and just we're in for the long haul, not the quick buck. So slow and steady wins the race. And that's maybe another one to check out if Michael was talking about AQN is Northland. Might be one to look at. Yeah. And so yeah, PED, 300 wells, 3 million oil, but no dividend. Yeah, that's the problem with companies. I mean, it depends what you're looking for, right? I don't know. I don't know who PED is. Let me just quickly look it up. If it's Go Corp on NYSE. Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm sorry. I do not know. Do not know. That's the problem. There's so many. You can never know. You can never know them all. So do your research is all I can kind of recommend. I'm not big on the oil sector. I maybe should be with everything that's going on, but I think long term I'm more on renewables, but that's just me. Everybody's different. We'll have to see. I do have the coverage of some of the energy stocks in obviously BTC.Y being Canadian, heavily bank. It's heavy bank, financials, energy, telecoms in Canada. So I kind of I think I cover my bases there as much as I kind of want. And I don't really have any individual energy stocks, although the favorite I think of the channel, and I've actually owned before at a personal account. I did have, like, my TFSA, I don't have energy, but I did have some that I bought a long time ago when I first started my account, before I had set up my TFSAs. I did have XEG, which I sold. So that's maybe another one to check out, is XEG, if you're looking for some Canadian energy ETF. There we are. We're at the top of the hour, so thanks everybody. We're almost time to wrap it up. We always get more and more people every day, so it's awesome. I do really appreciate it. My day starts at 9 o'clock for work. Busy day ahead of me, which is always fun. So make sure it's if you're working, you're being able to invest. So it's always nice. So, and we'll catch the replay. If you're just tuning in now and you've missed the whole stream, you can always catch the replay. It will get posted on YouTube. I will have my 100th update over the weekend, which is awesome. And I did purchase. I'm going to get those shares purchased. I got the money in there, and get the shares purchased for the stock that was suggested by everybody on the live stream. So if you're watching and not sure what that is, stay tuned. It will be announced in the 100th video. So 100 shares of a company for the 100th video, which was awesome. It's nice to put a good chunk of deposit in there. So hopefully that one does well. I think it's been good. I did a bit more looking at the company and the share, what it is and what the dividends are. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good long-term hold. Well, that's, I think, hopefully was a good choice. So thanks everybody for that, and thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow's Friday, so we will be back for another live stream 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll post that on the channel so you can set the reminder. And lastly, we've finally ironed out, we're going to be doing a live stream with Candace from Mountain Finance. We'll be talking about our YouTube channels and all that fun stuff. So not investing side, but investing, I guess, in our channels and building our channels and how we got started and how we're building our channels and some of the behind the scenes kind of YouTube stuff that might be some curiosity from people, because I know there's a few people that do watch that have channels as well. So we're going to do that on December 3rd, first Saturday in December, and it's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern time, so 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. So I will get that up on the channel as soon as possible as well. And you can have that schedule a bit different, have a Saturday live stream, but it'd be good to might get some new faces in here as well. So that is all. We start off with the fireplace. We'll end with the fireplace. And before you head out, I just ask if you hit that like button if you haven't already. As you leave the channel, it always helps out the channel. So I do appreciate it, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. Let's get this fire rolling.